Today, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to set up an AI appointment setter into your business to answer leads faster, directly qualify them through SMS or DMs, and then schedule them directly onto your calendar or your sales team's calendar to close. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm Scott Rodriguez. I run one of the largest info product sales teams. We handle anywhere from about 8,000 to 12,000 sales calls every single month. We have about 200 employees on our team and do anywhere from 8 to $11 million a month in sales. So we built out this system directly into our business. We built it custom for our business, and I'm going to show you exactly what it is and how to use it so that we can get to leads faster. As we grew, we realized one of the biggest problems was speed to lead and consistent reliability from our DM setters. So let's dive in. I'm going to share my screen and show you exactly how to set up the system. All right, so the tool that we use to do all of our appointment setting via AI and our lead qualifying through AI is setter.ai. Now, the first thing you're going to do once you've created your account is you're going to go down over here on the left side where you see the toolbar over to assistants. So the way Setter AI works is you create an assistant for each kind of lead generation that you're doing within your business. So within one business, you might be running ads directly to your DMs. Fun fact, those ads perform a lot better than when you send people off of Instagram. Instagram likes to keep people on Instagram. So if you run ads to your DMs and you're keeping people's session time longer, those ads will perform better. So you might be running ads directly to your DMs. You might have a lead magnet that you're running. Maybe it's a free tool. Maybe it's a PDF that you're telling people on your Instagram stories, hey, DM me the word start to get my free PDF. It could be a ton of different things. So whatever kind of lead generation you're doing, you're going to want to create a separate assistant for each one in most cases, especially if they're in different systems. You might be generating leads through SMS directly to Go High Level, and you get their phone number and then you want to text them back with AI. So that might be Go High Level, that might be Close.io integration, Close.com as of now integration. Or like I said, you might be sending people directly to your Instagram. So that's where we're going to do that here within our assistants. The first thing I'm going to do, you can already see I have some assistants set up already. The first thing you're going to do is click New Assistant in the top right. It's going to give you a couple of different options. Okay, when you're doing the free trial, you probably won't see all of these options, but it's going to show you a couple of different ones. These are basically just templates that we've built because it's what works for us. Now, you might want to use a blank template and start from scratch, or you might want to use one of these. You can see it says a quick little rundown here as to what each one does, best for personal consulting, personal coaching, prospect goals, pain points. It's going to talk about their goal is to engage in goals and pain, disqualify leads, and then book them for a sales call, right? So that's perfect for my situation. So name, I'm just going to name it Assistant 1. There is a little tutorial here that you can follow on the actual website. I'm going to name mine just Coaching Appointment Setter. Conversation window. All this means is when is my AI going to respond to people? If you want people to believe that it's AI, or that it's not AI rather, you're going to want to put this in reasonable business hours. In my opinion, speed to lead is king. I would rather somebody know that it's probably AI, but I get back to them right away than delay the conversation to make them feel more real. It's just not, it's always going to be better. We have thousands of data points to prove that speed to lead is king, especially when it's SMS and DM communication. You want to catch people when they're on and when they're waiting for an answer. So what I do is just conversation window 24/7, 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. Interval is in minutes. I always reduce it. So I'm going to reduce it to maximum 30 seconds, minimum 1 minute, or 10 seconds, and then maximum 1 minute. So this is so we don't send all the messages at once. If I do like a really big push on a webinar and I have 1,000 people DM me at once for a free tool, this way it doesn't send all the messages at once as well, so that you don't get flagged by Instagram. Model, this is something that we can cover later. This is for a trained model. So at the beginning, you're not going to use this, but once you've got a ton of data, you can use a trained model. If you've got like tens and thousands of messages in your CRM already, and you want to train the assistant on those messages, that's when the model is going to come in handy. But you have to do that before actually building the assistant. Now, setter's name, If someone asks, I'm AJ, I'm your assistant, what's my name? The program name, so mine is going to be Scott Sales Coach. Owner name, Scott Rodriguez. That's the founder. Prospect goals. So what is the goal of the prospect who's reaching out to me? The goal, it's going to pay to be specific here. Don't be afraid to write 8 to 10 to 20 lines in this box. I'm going to keep it short just for time purposes. The goal of the prospect is to learn how to sell more effectively on webinars and stages, for example. But again, you're going to want to be really in depth here. Offer specifics. This is where you can go and copy and paste this from your offer deck, your stack, wherever you have it. You're going to want to copy and paste everything about your offer. In my case, my offer is just coaching calls once per week. The reason the AI wants to know this is because if someone asks some questions, it could briefly answer it and then steer it back to the sales process. The more information the AI has, the better. Other context, I'm going to leave it blank, but you might want to have a bunch of other contexts here, like, hey, your goal is to qualify people, make sure they do this, make sure they're XYZ. You can add all the context that you need. Important links, this is where I put my landing page link. It's also where I put my lead magnet if I have it, lead magnet link, anything like that. Business niche, sales, coaching. Opening goal / prompting question. So this is going to be an exact script. This is very important. When I have my leads reach out, it's always best to script the first question. I recommend split testing this, especially if you're running ads. Create 2 or 3 different assistants and split test it to see what works better. Usually your opening question is going to be a double commitment question of a sort. It's going to be, hey, are you this or are you that? Those have the highest response rate. We've got, again, terabytes of data to prove that. Double commitment questions when you're opening up a DM or SMS conversation, way higher response rate. So what is the opening goal prompting question? In my case, somebody is going to be DMing me the word sales to learn how to sell from stages or sell on webinars. And then, my opening question is going to be a double commitment question. So I'm going to say something like, thanks for reaching out. Are you X or X? Keep it short. You can, use your prompting question, your initial question, whatever you want it to be for that first thing. If you want to just release if you're doing a lead magnet and you want to say, thanks for reaching out, here is the lead magnet, and drop the link and then follow up with a question, you can do that as well. Just make sure you script out this first question. That's how I find it works best. Should the assistant disqualify leads? Yes. Script out the qualifying question. Obviously, I'm just writing something quick here for time purposes, but you want to put a little more thought into this. Qualification criteria. Yes, I have capital to invest. For example, it might be a specific amount. Disqualify instructions. This is so important because if you've got a sales team, they often drop the ball here when they realize someone's not qualified for the high ticket offer. Always have a low ticket that you could send disqualified people to, especially if you're running ads to your DMs or running ads to SMS. Okay? If all of these leads are unqualified, you need to monetize them. That's just the reality. So have a link, have a checkout page, write a message, say, hey, makes total sense, for example. Tone guidelines, as detailed as possible. This is really simple. It's as exactly as it sounds. You're friendly, but straight to the point. You don't ask too many questions before offering next steps. XYZ. You're going to want to put your tone guidelines. So then you can click create. It's going to bring you to the next step. This is where you actually connect the system to do the messaging for. Okay? So I'm going to integrate this later just so that I don't actually have to go in there. For the most part, Go High Level, Instagram closed. We have Smart Lead Connect. I know they're working on a few other ones as well. But if you want to directly integrate it to your Instagram, this is probably the best route to do it. It connects just like a ManyChat would. So you hook up your Instagram directly. And again, your AI is only going to be responding to specific messages. It's not going to respond to all of the messages, just based on the keyword that you put. Okay, so I'll just integrate my Go High Level here. I'll click Go High Level. Okay, my Go High Level is already connected, so it's not going to pop up. Normally it's going to pop up and you just have to log in through your Go High Level account. So now it's going to show you how to actually configure this. So what channels is it going to be answering people in through Go High Level? In my case, I'm going to do SMS or Instagram. So it's going to answer, my Instagram is connected to my Go High Level. It's going to answer Instagram. I might just want to do SMS. This is how it's going to communicate, what channel it's going to communicate from. I could set a filter to process all inbound messages, or I could do keywords. My recommendation is keywords. If you're running ads or doing story posts, you're usually going to say, DM me the word start, DM me the word apply, text the word XYZ. If you're doing SMS, you might want to do process all inbound messages, but usually DMs, I recommend doing a keyword. Okay, so this is exactly what they're going to write. So you can just drop a comma here if you want to do another one, and it's going to give you another space. Usually I recommend, doing, like, if you're doing apply, I recommend doing start, because they might say different things. So you want to do a catch-all for sure. So this is inbound keywords. You can also set an outbound keyword. Okay, this is really important because if I'm texting someone on the CRM or texting someone in the DMs and I want to trigger the assistant, I can set an outbound keyword. If I send the message, it's going to trigger the assistant. Okay, basically what this keyword means is it's turning the assistant on to that conversation, and then they will manage the entire conversation. It's not like a ManyChat where it's keyword and then a workflow to send one message. It actually manages the entire conversation once the keyword is live. Okay, required tags. So you can add a tag specifically that, hey, this lead has to have this tag to trigger the assistant. Okay, so if you're in Go High Level and you have like an AI tag, you put the tag there and then you can set a workflow to add the tag. Excluded, if you want to exclude specific leads. Disqualify, so this means different to the configure step. This just means it's going to report that it's disqualified. I always recommend having that on. And end conversations, always recommend having that on. Basically, if they schedule the call, it's going to end the conversation. Keywords to ignore, stop, XYZ. So I'm going to go save. Next. Now booking. This is really important. Where is it going to be scheduling calls? The best part about Setter AI, and the reason why it works so well, it's not just sending them a link to schedule a call. If you want them to schedule calls, it actually will look into the calendar. It will find available times and schedule the call directly onto the calendar. It'll get the phone number, the email, and schedule it directly onto the calendar. That to me is one of the most powerful parts because there's way less drop off when you do it that way. We found that when you send a link versus scheduling natively through SMS or through Go High Level, finding a time that works for them and offering 2 or 3 times, we found that you get a 20% increase in the amount of people that actually follow through and schedule a call. That is huge when you're spending money on ads. So I'll just put my calendar link here, www.calendarlink.com. You might have like a Calendly, for example. You might have a Google Calendar, whatever you're using for your calendar link, you just drop it there. Save. Next. Now testing. This is where basically you can actually test the appointment setter. You can drop in, make sure you start with the keyword that you put. So if my keyword was start, you could drop in that keyword. Obviously I skipped a lot of steps in the configuring just to do this efficiently. But when you get to this step, this is where you're going to be testing it. And if you don't like the tone, just go back and fix the actual tone guidelines, fix the initial question. Whatever you need to do to make sure that's working effectively, go back and correct it. The beautiful part about this assistant is that it can work. It works as well as you prompt it. So if I tell it, I want you to sound and say these things, if I feed it a full script in that configure stage, it will be able to follow that as closely as possible, but still read the messages and respond accordingly. So that's pretty much it. Now you're done. You're going to click done here. You can see my coaching AI appointment setter. You can see it's active. It's booking by link, time window, created on, all that fun stuff. And then on my dashboard, I'm actually going to be able to see how many active conversations I have, messages sent, appointments booked, disqualified leads. You actually get real data, which is, you guys know if you're doing DMs and you're doing lead generation through the DMs, the data tracking is usually horrendous. So it's really nice to have an actual spot to track the data. But that's everything. That's how to set up your actual first assistant. Now all that's left is to start sending leads to that channel. If it's SMS, if it's DMs, if it's close.com, send leads to that channel and make sure they are saying that keyword that you want to use, or you're just answering all leads, and your assistant will take it from there. And they're going to start scheduling appointments on autopilot. Okay, so if you want to create an actual account, if you haven't already, if you have created an account, great. I'm excited for you. If you haven't already, you're going to go to Setter.ai to start a free trial. Okay, you don't even have to put in card information. You just start a free trial, and trust me, you're going to be blown away by the amount that it's going to change your business. So thanks for watching along. If you got any questions, concerns, thoughts, insults, drop a comment down below in the video. Obviously, like, drop a comment, subscribe so more people can see the power of AI within their sales process. And that's it from me, to the moon. See you on the next video.